Lesson number 80 is about increases in percent. And we have two problems today. Both of them are word problems. Both of them have more than one sentence. So if you want to write example 1 in your notes rather than this, you may. But make sure you get how to solve the problem written down. First one is, to their dismay, the townspeople found that the rodent population increased 140%. If the rodent population had been 400 before, what was the rodent population now? So in this problem, if we want to go ahead and solve it, what we know is that 140%, and we'll use our pen tool, 140% of 400 is, or equal to, we'll write is, the increase, or how much it went up. So if we write that, instead of is the increase, we could say 140% of 400 equals, and we'll call it the increase, I. Let's solve. 140%, well, that's the same thing. We'll use a purple color today. 140 over 100 times 400 over 1 equals I. Let's see what we get. Well, we can simplify before we multiply. We know that 400 over 100 is the same thing as 4 over 1. And now we can go ahead and figure out our math. Our denominator must be 1, and our numerator is 4 times 140. Well, 4 times 0, that's 0. 4 times 4, that's 16, and we'll carry our 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. So we get 560. So 560 is I. That's the increase. So if the rodent population was 400 before, what was the rodent population now? So if it was 400 to begin with, then it increased by 560. Well, we must get a total of 960 as our rodent population now. So 960, and we could write rodents. We need a label because we've got a word problem. Box our answer, and we can move on to the next question. The number of cheering fans increased from 60 to 240. What percent increase was this? So since we want to know what percent increase this was, we have to know how much the numbers increased. Went from 60 to 240. So how many fans were added to 60 to get to 240? Well, you'd have to subtract to find the difference. We'll borrow from the 2 to get a 1, and we've got 14. Well, 0 minus 0, that's 0, and 14 minus 6, that's 8. So we get 80. So 80, well, that's not right because we've got our 1 as well. 180, that's correct. 180 was the number of fans that we increased. But what percent increase is this? Now to figure out our percent increase, what we're going to have to do is we're going to say, what percent of 60 is 180? What percent of 60 is 180? Because we want the percent increase, we want to know what percent of 60 is 180. So we can solve. What percent times 60 is 180? Well, this makes sense because if we have what percent of 60 to get a bigger number, our percent is going to have to be greater than 100%. It will tell us the percent increase. In order to undo the multiplication of 60, we're going to divide by 60, because 60 divided by 60 is just 1 over 1. And then we'll say 180 divided by 60. So WP is equal to 180 over 60, which is the same thing as 18 over 6. And we know that 6 goes into 18 3 times. So since it goes into 18 3 times, and we want to change that into a percent, well, 3, that's the same as 300%. Because remember, 1 would be the same as 100%. So we've got our answer. When the number of cheering fans increased from 60 to 240, we increased our original by 180 fans to get to 240. The percent increase of this, well, we wrote out what we needed to solve. We solved it, and our answer was greater than 100%, which it should be, because we're increasing the number of fans that we had. Lesson practice will be on page 252. Make sure you got your notes complete, and I'll see you during your next class.